Hello and welcome back to the channel Held Dominance. Anthony here. Please remember to like and subscribe, and also click that notification bell if you're enjoying what you're seeing and if you want to continue seeing more. Coming up in this episode, we continue with our review of the 2022 season in Super League as we look at teams placed 6th to 1st in part 2. So this is part 2 of my Super League review, and we're going to cover teams 6th to 1st in this 2022 regular season. Now, what I have is a strict policy of a team with 0 points at an end of a Super League season and conceding over 1,000 points gets an F rating, where an A+ gets an unbeaten side scoring 1,000 points in a Super League season. And I determine where each team sits in that basic, what I call GCSE scoring system. Anyway, I hope that some of you guys have agreed or disagreed with what I did yesterday, but it is just my opinion. You guys, please continue to tell me what your thoughts are in the comment section. Anyway, we are going to complete the Super League review, and we are starting part 2 with the team that finished in 6th place. That accolade goes to Salford Red Devils as they finished 6th in the league, which in this humble announcer's doings at the beginning of the season, I predicted them to be amongst the battlers at the bottom of the table, considering the players that they brought in. I didn't know too much about them. Plus, with Paul Rowley's being outside the Super League for so long and had minimal impact when it came to his Super League tenure with Salford under Ian Watson. Anyway, I digress. Their Super League season has been a one for the record books, as their 14 wins from 27 games sees them be the second highest points for scorers with 700 in this season. Yes, they have conceded almost as much as they have scored, but their exciting brand of rugby league is going to expect some sort of results like this. Head coach Paul Rowley has took the shackles off his side when it comes to offence, and the intent of spreading the ball as quick as possible with both sides of the pitch, with goal scorers galore on one side or the other, whether that's Ken Seo or Joe Burgess in the wings, or Dion Cross, who surely is a bargain of the season, combining with the halfbacks such as Brodie Croft and Mark Sneyd. Speaking about the halfback Brodie Croft, he has scored 7 tries this season in his 26 Super League appearances. Plus, he sits 4th in the assist chart behind Jake Connor, Tui Lolohea and Jack Welsby when it comes to attacking plays. And along with fellow import Tim Laffey, have set the Super League on fire when Salford come to town. Laffey has also been instrumental in Salford's goal forward with 49 offloads during this season. And it hasn't gone unnoticed with Dion Cross as well, as he has also been the bargain of the season with 26 appearances in Super League and 14 tries to his name. He is 3rd highest try scorer behind Ken Seo and Joe Burgess for 2022. The new Salford outlook is making wins a habit and continuing on that vein with 14 in the season. Yes, they have benefited from some abject performances from the likes of Warrington and the Hull sides, but they're in the top 6 on merit because you have to play who's in front of them. They've won more than they've lost. My old rugby coach used to say winners are grinners after every single win, as his gloats but keeping it checked. But Salford are definitely winners, and they're grinning all the way into the playoffs. Another team that have had an absolute travesty first half of the season, made a few changes, and scraped into the playoffs. Not just in 6th place, but in 5th place was Leeds Rhinos, as they left it to the last game of the season to make sure of their berth in the playoffs. And it was touch and go during that game whether or not they were going to make it. Richard Agard started off the season at the helm after his Challenge Cup victory season in 2021, but was let go after 6 rounds due to no wins during that period, due to injury, suspension and abject performances that has seen Leeds rooted to the bottom of the table. That happened on the 23rd of March, and in the meantime, Gary Hetherington put James Jones Buchanan, the Leeds Rhinos legend, in charge of the club to sort of steady the ship. And he did well during that period in April, before a new coach was employed. Despite a loss against St Helens and nilling at home at 26 points to nil, Leeds got a credible draw against Huddersfield Giants, 20 points to 20, which was a gritty performance, and they could have won it in golden point extra time, but unfortunately weren't unable to. Leeds were continuing to move in the right direction under Jones Bishop, as a result of 40 points to 16 was on the 26th of March in the Challenge Cup against Castleford. At Castleford in the Super League on the 18th of April, it was only 16 points to 14 to the Tigers. He got his first win at home against Toulouse, 25 points to 14, in what was announced as his final game as interim head coach, as Rowan Smith had been appointed the day before and started implementing changes into the way that Leeds play, aiming at a grittier type of defence and winning games through taking their chances when they're presented to them, be more clinical. Smith's first game was the perfect case in point, as they won 12 points to nil against Hull KR on Friday the 29th of April. Don't get me wrong, there were still spots where Leeds still needed to work on things, as in the second game, Smith was defeated at Salford 23 points to 8, but wasn't beaten until next month in June by Huddersfield 30 points to 16, and this is when Huddersfield were in their bump. Leeds were another team that put 60 points on Hull FC, as they won at Hull 62 points to 16, which has been a fantastic way to implement this Leeds story, as well as a victory that month against Wigan, 42 points to 12 in the Super League at Hindley. Despite injuries and suspensions, and also going down to 12 men in this game, this Catalans match epitomised what Leeds Rhinos could do to teams, as they fought back from 30 points to 10 down to win a dramatic golden point victory against Catalans in Perpignan, with Aidan Caesar snatching a 36 points to 32 win with a try in golden point. But despite all these wins and these positive performances, it wasn't until the last game of the season where Leeds could celebrate their berth in the playoffs with a 14 points to 8 final 10-minute victory against Castleford. Now we come on to last year's grand finalists, the Catalans Dragons, who haven't had the best of regular seasons, but make the playoffs in 4th position. An emphasis on grinding out results saw them score 539 points, the lowest of the top 6, while conceding 513 points, the 4th lowest in Super League. Catalan season could be comparable to Ben Garcia's year, at which he suffered a terrible tear at Magic Weekend, with him having to have hundreds of stitches and 2 attempts to reattach it as the Catalans man came back to play possibly a week too early before the injury could set. He wasn't the only one to get injuries, as with the likes of Sam Tompkins being missing for a good proportion of the season, whether it was hamstring injuries or a broken leg, Catalans kept doing enough to get over the line to get into playoffs. Like Leeds before them, Catalans fell afoul of the new rule changes when it comes to the sendings off and yellow cards, with the likes of Dylan Napa being sent off in the first game of the season. So a style and an approach play change needed to be made so that Catalans could be successful in 2022. Catalans went through to June after this with only 4 losses in the league in total since that opening day result at Saints, which was added upon when they beat Saints early in July 20 points to 18. But there were bumps along the way after this, as Catalans finished the regular season with 6 losses in 10 games, which has got to be some concern to Steve McNamara. If Steve McNamara wants his team to return to Old Trafford for 2022's grand final, he'll need to improve and get their team winning as soon as possible. Next we have Huddersfield Giants, who have a commendable season, finishing 3rd in the league as well as getting to a Challenge Cup final, which they were within 3 minutes of winning. But we'll talk about their Super League season. Finishing 3rd with 17 wins from their 27 games, with 1 draw rather than 10 defeats, 35 points, and also the 3rd highest points, 4th highest point scoring in the Super League playoff positions and regular season, means that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with. 3rd place seems to be the right place for them, as they have conceded the 3rd least amount in Super League, which gives them a good points differential of 116. Only the 2 teams above them have got a better record than that. Ian Watson's men have been accused of being a boring side during the 2022 season with their approach to the regular season, completing sets high up at the field in the opposition half, close to the opposition's try line, and forcing mistakes on the back of great defence. Bit pragmatic, but I think it's grinding winning rugby league, and the stats don't lie when you see their high completion rates. Tuilola here has been a star man at fullback for the Giants and has pushed them further than what many people had thought, despite myself thinking they're going to be dark horses for the grand final in 2022. But it should have been ported by some better cast, as the likes of Will Price have been suffering from whether it's form or, in Price's case, discipline, as in the 2nd game of the season, Price received a 10-game ban for a bad tackle on Hull FC's Conor Wrench. While Watson was able to bring in some absolute quality in the pre-season, it is the likes of Chris McQueen that have stood up, as the forward was the leading try scorer in Super League for 2022 for players in the forward positions. Huddersfield have come on leaps and bounds over the last couple of years under Watson, so to see where they're at the moment, it seems like they're kicking down the door and turning over the apple carts in the yard to get into the playoffs and be successful as the time goes on. We'll have to see how they do in the playoffs, but for now, they've been really good this year, and I'm very pleased for them. Second place went to Wigan Warriors, who had a much improved season compared to previous when it comes to attacking and defensive flair. They have scored the most points in the Super League season for them. Second place in the league went to Wigan Warriors, who had a much improved season compared to 2021. Second on the table, but with the most points scored for any team in 2022, with 818. A good 100 plus points ahead of the next best, Salford Red Devils, in 6th place. They have conceded the second least as well, with 483, as head coach Matty Peet has improved the steel and let the creative players go at it in 2022. While the headlines will always be grabbed by Bevan French and Jai Fields with the way that they played this season, French being top of the Super League scoring charts for this season, plus a magic 7 in one game against Hull FC. Not quite a record, but is noteworthy to be counted. Don't get Wigan wrong, they haven't just been reliant on the two Australian speedsters, match winners, whatever you want to call them, as they have been ably backed up by the likes of Harry Smith, who has grown into the role, supplying ammunition, his kicking has got better, and he has got an eye for creating tries. Probably due to the fact that Lee Breers was brought into the club as one of the assistants at the beginning of the year. Also with fellow Australian import Kate Cuss coming in, who's growing into that midfield general role, as the likes of Blake Green did in previous years. But backed up by Liam Marshall on the other wing, and off the bench with Ethan Haddad, Wigan have got some potent players all over the pitch, which has been the case for years, but more so now that Matt Peet has been using them as readily as he wants to. Bevan French's future may be up in the air, but it's not showing on his performances on the pitch, as he's still a box of tricks looking to win games from any position on the pitch, whether he is at fullback or on the wing. Matt Peet's debut year has been a good one. He's already got silverware in his back pocket with the Challenge Cup, and will be looking to add more with a grand final trophy. And also individual accolades like the Coach of the Year, as he has been nominated alongside Paul Rowley and St Helens Christian Wolf for head coach of the year. We'll hopefully see what comes of that at the end of the season, but for now, all focus is on the playoffs after a successful first year in charge at Wigan Warriors. St Helens lifted the league leaders' shield with a fantastic season, despite injuries, suspensions, and the news that the head coach is leaving at the end of this current campaign. The one trophy that eluded them in 2021 was captured by a St Helens side, who have been dominant throughout the season, with only 6 defeats throughout the season. I must admit, I picked them to go through the entire season unbeaten, but they have done enough to win the league by 4 clear points. It is possibly tinged with a little bit of sadness now that Saints have confirmed that Christian Wolf, who won the grand final last year as head coach of St Helens, is leaving the Saints to go take an opportunity with the Redcliffe Dolphins in the NRL. But it's coming at a time where continuity is a key, and it seems to have been already made in the last few hours, as bookmakers have stopped the odds and bets being taken on Paul Wellens taking over as head coach from 2023 and beyond, after being assistant to Wolf and Holbrook before him. St Helens' high intensity play, whether it's going forward or in defence, was one that kept sides grinding to stay in games against Saints, and you could prove that with the amount of wins that they have lost, of being only 6. But don't get me wrong, there have been blips along the way. A loss against Toulouse early against the season by 2 points in Toulouse was a major one, but other results are due to many changes to the squad. Big loss at Castleford only came after Saints named a much changed side, as many as 12 changes to the first team and 4 on the bench during a game at Castleford where they lost 30 points to 6. After losing number 1 pick Lewis Dodd at halfback for the season due to a knee injury, and others coming in and out of the team, youngsters like John Bennison stood up in recent games to help Saints get over those hurdles and to go on to win the league. Plus, with the consistency of James Roby throughout the entire season, pulling in another tremendous season of displays, he has decided to go around one more time for 2023. It's a feat that the former Man of Steel and possible future Man of Steel didn't think he would do at the beginning of the season, but his body is held up well enough so that he could go round once more. You cannot rule out St Helens no matter what game they're in, and if it comes to the grand final, they could make it a 4-peat. 4 times champions at grand final level, now the 4th consecutive year. Any coach that will be coming in will be looking to add to that, at the very, very least, due to the high standards that the coaches before them have set in place. Can they do it? There are some good teams in the playoffs that can beat them. Don't disregard Saints at any point, as it will be at your peril. And that's it for another episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe and share this video worldwide, as well as clicking that notification bell for any updates on new videos that may be coming your way. Tell me what your thoughts are of this episode in the comment section. It's open for all to comment on. Just please be respectful of each other. Do you agree with my assessment of where the teams score for 2022? Do you think that some should get a higher level and some should get a lower level? Tell me. Comment section is open. But these are just my opinions. I give you a little bit of a review on what my scoring sits. Anyway, tell me, comment, like, subscribe, share this video worldwide in the meantime. So please, thank you very much for watching. I will now wish you all the best. So please stay safe, and I'll see you in the next episode. All the best.